This is the Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips Podcast, Season 2, Episode 11, Week 4. I am your host, Tyler Boloski, and tonight we're flying solo tonight. Eli is out and about with some friends for birthday parties, so we are going to just be me and you. Sorry, guys. I know you love listening to Eli. Probably don't want to listen to me too much, but hang with us. We got some good tips for you tonight, some updates on some injuries, and our sit starts. So let's dive right into it. We are teaming up this year with Drafting Sleepers. Drafting Sleepers is an awesome website. It's a social networking fantasy sports website. You can go on there and post questions, post our podcast. You can find us there. A little later on the show, we have some questions from those guys there. So sign up is free. You can go there anytime, ask questions. It's an amazing website, guys. It's awesome. It's fun. Get there as fast as you can. It's an awesome site. We're teamed up with them the whole year this year and probably to come, years to come. They are great to us and we're great to them. So keep up the good work, guys, at draftingsleepers.com. All right, we're going to get right into our nines. Our nines is presented by pristineauction.com. Pristine Auction is an awesome website to get your favorite sports memorabilia, such as jerseys and balls and basketballs and baseballs and signed helmets and signed baseball cards, anything you guys want. Authentic signed sports memorabilia from your favorite athletes. You can also get things from movies and paintings and coins and a ton of awesome, amazing, authentic gear from pristineauction.com. Our first nine, which is news, injuries, notes, emails, and stats, is Andrew Luck and Sam Bradford are both not playing again this week. Both are just struggling to get healthy. Andrew Luck is probably not going to be around until November, they're saying now. Sam Bradford maybe next week, but either way, you're not going to start those guys today or this week. Ty Montgomery for the Green Bay Packers. He sustained a rib injury. At first, they're talking about maybe broken bones. Now it's looking like just a big bone bruise. Whatever the case is, he is going to be week to week. He probably will play for next week, guys, so just keep an eye on that for next week. We'll let you know as it gets closer to next week. Also in the same game on Thursday, Davante Adams sustained a concussion in that game. He got blasted, guys. And the guy who did it, can't think of his name right now, he's suspended for 2 games, which is good. I think it should have been more, but whatever. I'm not the commish. But yeah, so Davante Adams is in the concussion protocol. He says he's doing good. But, just stay with us until next week, and we definitely could see more if he plays or not. If not, pick up Randall Cobb, pick up Geronimo. I can't think of his last name, but something Geronimo or Geronimo something. Number 4 is Tyler Eifert for the Cincinnati Bengals. Is out this week and probably out indefinitely. He's not on the IR, but he's dealing with another back and leg injury. So if you have him, I'd say go ahead and drop him for now. Or if you have a deep bench, then you can go ahead and keep him. But Tyler Eifert is out indefinitely with a back and knee injury. Someone who's coming back, Willie Snead for the New Orleans Saints is back this week. He's off for suspension, so he is teaming up with Drew Brees this week, and I think he's going to get heavy dosage just to get him back on pace with the team against Miami. What a great way to come back and just blow up that Miami Dolphins defense. And go ahead, I'm starting him. I'm going to start him this week, and it's not a bad start. Darren Sproles for the Eagles is out on IR. He's done for the season. Probably don't have him on too many of your leagues anyways, unless it's a deep league. So you can just go ahead and drop him now. Obviously, he's on the IR if you haven't already. Calvin Benjamin, Doug Baldwin, Melvin Gordon, they're all banged up, but they're all going to play this week. So get them in your starting lineups. And yeah, that's it. Now we're going to go to some emails or some questions from DraftingSleepers.com. Steel Curtain asks, Andrew Luck is in my free agent pool. We have a very short bench for spots, and I currently don't have a backup quarterback. Is he worth stashing, even though it won't be 10 times harder during the upcoming bye weeks? My starter is Russell Wilson, so I'm not dying for a quarterback. Honestly, Steel Curtain, I'm not picking him up until your bye week. I may not even pick him up because he's not playing until November, and by then the Colts will be way out of the playoff position, and who knows how healthy he really is. Either the Colts are dragging their feet on this, or that he's hurt more than everyone thinks he is. So I wouldn't even worry about picking him up. You probably can find a better streaming quarterback for when Russell Wilson's on bye. So still Curtin, don't worry about Andrew Luck. 2-minute warning on DraftingSleepers.com. Slapping. DraftingSleepers.com. 2-minute warning. DeMarco Murray, is he trade worthy? Can I sell him high right now, or do I hold? It really depends on your bench, who you have on your bench. I don't know who you have, but if you can get a good deal back, go for it. Trade him. Maybe try to find the Henry owner, and you can double up. But I don't know what's on your team. So if you have a good team, you have full of running backs, trade them. If you need receiver help, trade them. But I don't know. So it's really what's up to you on your bench. City of Blues asks, will and when will Alvin Kamara for the Saints become a weekly fantasy starter based on the cluster of starters in the Saints running back? Well, first of all, the Saints running backs are a handful, yes. I'm kind of weeding out Adrian Peterson now. He's not really getting a lot of touches and kind of getting away from him. So I'd say you can flex Alvin Kamara. I'm flexing Alvin Kamara this week. They have a great matchup against the Miami Dolphins. So if you have that ability to flex him, I'd flex him. He's not a solid number 2 yet. He will be a bye week filler eventually when the bye weeks come around. So yeah, go ahead and start him in your flex and bye week position. As far as when, I guess you're gonna have to wait for either the Saints to trade Peterson or Ingram gets hurt. But as far as a weekly starter, maybe a flex for right now. All right, City of Blues, thanks for questions. 2-minute warning, thanks for your question. And Steel Curtain, thanks for your question on DraftingSleepers.com. That's going to wrap it up for our nines for this week. Let's get right into the main event. Our sit starts for every game this week. First game up is the New Orleans Saints versus the Miami Dolphins. You're going to be starting Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara, as we said. Probably not Adrian Peterson. Unless you have a deep bench or a deep starting roster, maybe a couple flexes. And then Willie Snead. I'm starting Willie Snead and maybe Ted Ginn. I would stay away from Brandon Coleman. I think, yeah, the reports are out there saying he's gonna be staying his pace, but Willie Snead is gonna give it back in there. As far as Miami, you're gonna start Jay Ajayi, but just watch out for his knee injury. It keeps coming up and he's getting banged up. Jay Cutler, yeah, but only because they're playing the Saints. And then receivers, Jarvis Landry and Devontae Parker. Go for it. Start both of them if you have deep leagues. My Atlanta Falcons hosting the Buffalo Bills. The Bills, you're going to definitely Tyrod Taylor, Sean McCoy, and Charles Clay as they are the 3 studs there. You're not starting really anyone else. Maybe Jordan Matthews because they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. But as far as the Falcons, you got Matt Ryan, Freeman, and Coleman, along with Julio and Taylor Gabriel. Eli picked Taylor Gabriel last week, and he blew it up. He got a touchdown for you guys, so definitely stay with that. Maybe Mohamed Sanu in a deep league. He also got a touchdown. So there's your starters. Cincinnati at Cleveland Browns. I'm not starting anyone from Cleveland. Guys, Cleveland is just horrible. I'm getting a lot of questions on Twitter, which you can find me at Tyler Belawski. It's Tyler Belawske. A lot of one guy's always, he's going back and forth. I love talking to this guy, and he's asking me about the Browns and Corral. And guys, listen, it's the Browns. I start every season with teams I'm not drafting from or picking up from, and Cleveland's one of them. I love Crow, but he needs to be on a different team. Kenny Britt maybe because you get PPR, but that's about it. You're not starting anyone else from Cleveland. Cincinnati, on the other hand, you're going to start Andy Dalton because they're going to be passing the ball. AJ Green, of course. And right now, it looks like Joe Mixon's the running back in Cincinnati, so definitely get him going. Dallas Cowboys hosting the Los Angeles Rams. You're going to start Zeke, Dak, and Dez. Jason Witten, obviously. Those 3 guys are still tearing it up. Los Angeles Rams, you're starting Todd Gurley. Sammy Watkins, if he's coming out of concussion protocol, as I was saying, go ahead and start him. And Cooper Kupp, maybe in a deep league. But Cooper is definitely on fading down. I don't know what happened from the preseason to this season, the regular season. Maybe it's just the speed of the game is picked up when they're actually playing against real teams. But yeah, Cooper Kupp's kind of trending south.
Jared Goff could be a streamer quarterback this week if you need help, but I really wouldn't worry about starting him. Detroit Lions at the Minnesota Vikings. Detroit, you're going to start everyone. Stafford, Golden Tate, maybe Marvin Jones, but Amir Abdullah and Theo Redrick, get him in there. Only just because Minnesota's defense is good, but the passing defense isn't great. That front line is awesome, though. Minnesota, you're going to start Steph Diggs and Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, of course, and Kyle Rudolph. Casey Keenum, that's a tough choice. You could probably find better. I'd rather start Stafford than Keenum, but if you have to, go for it. The Carolina Panthers at New England Patriots. Patriots obviously starting Brady, Gillislee, maybe even James White, Gronk, obviously, Brandon Cooks, Chris Hogan, and Danny Amendola. Get them in there. Carolina, Christian McCaffrey, Kelvin Benjamin, and that's about it. Jay Stu, maybe if you have to, and Cam Newton, I don't know what is going on with Cam Newton this year, but I would not start him this week. Give him a week, maybe sit him if you have to, if you can. Just go ahead and sit Cam Newton. Jacksonville at the New York Jets. Jacksonville, you're going to start Leonard Fournette, Allen Hurns, Marquise Lee, and maybe Blake Bortles if you have to, but oh my goodness, it's Blake Bortles. Don't worry about starting Mercedes Lewis. He's already made his production quota for the year. As far as the New York Jets, don't start anyone. That Jacksonville defense is going to shut down the Jets this week. And as far as the teams I'm not drafting from or picking up from, the Jets are another one. I don't want any Jets on my team this year. Actually, I just got done trading Bilal Powell. So, and the whole hype about Austin Seferian-Jenkins, guys, they're playing Jacksonville. He's coming back for the second game this year. Guys, it's the Jets. They don't have a quarterback. Don't start him this week. Everyone's saying do it. Don't do it. Steelers at the Ravens. Steelers are going to do the big three: Big Ben, Bell, and Brown. That's probably Martavis Bryant. Ravens, I don't know. Probably just Jeremy Maclin, and that's about it. Running backs, so they can't do anything this year. Baltimore is just stuck. Tennessee Titans and Houston Texans. You're going to start Marcus Mariota. You're going to start DeMarco Murray and Delaney Walker. As far as the rest of the receiving core, there's really no one else out there. I mean, Eric Decker's kind of not doing anything this year. Corey Davis is still hurt. So just those big three. Maybe Derrick Henry if you need some running back help. Houston, definitely Deshaun Watson. He is going to run out and throw all over these guys. Lamar Miller, this could be your last week with him. If you have him, if he doesn't do anything, I wouldn't dump him. I'd try to trade him. And obviously, DeAndre Hopkins, you're going to want to start him. Will Fuller comes back this week, but maybe give him a week or two to get adjusted to Deshaun Watson. It's a little different than Willie Snead in New Orleans because Willie's played with Drew Brees. Fuller hasn't played with Watson yet, so maybe give him a week or two to get adjusted for that. 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals. 49ers, you're not going to start anyone. Maybe Carlos Hyde. But that Arizona defense is pretty good again this year. Arizona's Fitzgerald, Palmer, and I'd say that's really about it. I'm not starting anyone else at Arizona. I'd start that defense, though. Definitely get that defense going. Philadelphia, you're going to start Carson Wentz. Wendell Smallwood now is a new running back since Darren Sproles is out. So get him in there. Get Zach Ertz for your tight end, and any of the receivers, not really. I mean, they're not going to produce a whole lot. Los Angeles Chargers, though, on the other hand, I'm starting Keenan Allen, Phillip Rivers, and Melvin Gordon. Hunter Henry, man, if he can just stay consistently either good or consistently bad, you would know what to do with him. It seems like one week he's awesome, next week he throws up a donut. So hit or miss with him, so I wouldn't worry about starting him this week until he can get consistency. The Giants at the Buccaneers. Giants almost won that game last week. It's just a 63, 64-yard field goal, something like that. Man, they're so close every week. Giants, maybe start Eli Manning, but you definitely want to get OBJ in there, Brandon Marshall, Sterling Shepard, and Evan Ingram. Definitely those four guys, you want to get them going against that Tampa Bay secondary. Tampa Bay, you're going to start Winston. Jacquizz Rodgers, this is his last week because Doug Martin comes back, so maybe get him in there. But you're going to have Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson definitely going. Cameron Brate,
he's just like Austin Hooper. He can't get going. He can't get the ball. So I'm not starting Brate this week. Oakland Raiders, Denver Broncos. Denver, you're going to be starting Trevor Siemian. Why not? Get him out there. He's doing good. Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders for your receivers. And C.J. Anderson is your running back. Get them all in there. Oakland, on the other hand, Carr, maybe not. From what I've been hearing, Denver's defense is going to be all over these guys. But you need a starting quarterback, so get Carr in there. Lynch, probably going to get shut down this week, so you may want to think about if you have someone better, but if you have no one, get him in there. Amari Cooper, you want to start him because someone has to catch the ball, and I guess Crabtree is kind of banged up, so keep an eye out on that for the latest reports. It is a 4:30 game, so you kind of have to keep your eye out for that. The Sunday night game, Colts versus the Seattle Seahawks. Frank Gore, I guess you need to have him in there, and T.Y. Hilton. That's about it. Same with Jack Doyle. Jack Doyle is just one of those inconsistent tight ends so far this year. It doesn't help that Andrew Luck's not in the game. But Jacoby Brissett is starting to slowly heat it up, guys. Maybe put him on a deep bench because he's going to be playing until November, probably Thanksgiving time or so. Seattle, definitely Russell Wilson. Doug Baldwin is a go, so get those guys in there. Paul Richardson, get him in there. For running backs, running backs, they have no idea what they're doing, and their Procise is always hurt. Thomas Rawls hurt. Eddie Lacy's pretty much done. They should just drop him, trade him, do something with him. Jimmy Graham, get him in there. And I guess Carson, I can't think of his, for Chris Carson, I think something like that, for the running back for Seattle. Go ahead and play him, I guess. They're playing the Colts, not the best defense. Monday night game, you had the Washington Redskins at the Kansas City Chiefs. Redskins, you're definitely starting Chris Thompson. I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's just, he's all hype, but he's good. The kid's good. So what? He only catches the ball, but you know what? He's catching touchdowns. That's all you want. You want touchdowns and PPR points. Who cares if he only touches it 3 times? That's 3 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins, I guess if you have to start someone, get him in there. I'm going to start any of those wide receivers this week. They're just so inconsistent. And then Kansas City, you're going to start Kareem Hunt, I guess Alex Smith, but man, if you have Cousins, I guess go Cousins. And their wide receiver there, I can't think of it. Eli, what's his name? Oh, wait, Eli's not here. Once again, guys, Eli's out and about with some friends for a birthday party, so he's not here, flying solo. But, start Kansas City defense for sure. Tyreek Hill is the wide receiver I was trying to say. So go with Tyreek Hill against that Washington defense. You should get plenty of points this week. That is going to do it for our sit-start. And now we're going to go to the pick'ems. And so, just pick the winners for each game. Saints is going to beat the Dolphins. Falcons will beat the Bills. Bengals are going to beat the Browns. Cowboys are going to beat the Rams. I'm going to have the Detroit Lions upset the Vikings this week. I'm also going to have the Patriots win against Carolina. Jacksonville is going to blow out the Jets. Steelers are going to crush the Ravens. I think the game of the week, the closest game of the week this week is the Titans and Texans. I'm going to go with the Texans and Deshaun Watson just running all over those guys. Cardinals will beat the 49ers. Philly and Chargers, that's going to be a tough game. But I'm going to have Philly losing to the Chargers because they have to fly all the way across to the West Coast. So the Chargers will win that home game. Excuse me. The Giants will beat the Buccaneers, finally getting down in the winner column. Denver is going to beat Oakland, and Seattle is going to dominate the Colts Sunday night. Monday night game, I have the Chiefs barely beating the Redskins by a field goal. So that's that. That's my pick-em. Guys, fantasy football is awesome. We love fantasy football, but I even love it more because we get to talk about it. We get to give you guys tips. It's awesome. That's why we have it's called the Fantasy Football Tips. So this fantasy football tip of the week is follow Nate Hamilton on Twitter and Brandon Marion Lee on Twitter, and you can find them. They're really great fantasy football knowledgeable people. They're awesome. Really helpful, really easy to talk to, really incisive. Brandon Marion Lee, she hosts a show with her sisters called Her Fantasy Football. It's an awesome podcast. Listen to them along with us. But you can find Brandon Marion Lee on Twitter at BrandonHerFFB. Again, she's an awesome follow. She is really smart and knows her fantasy football. Same with Nate Hamilton. He is awesome. I love talking to him. I talk to him probably couple times a month. Same with Brandon Marion Lee. And you can find Nate Hamilton. He works for the FF Footballers, the Fantasy Footballers, another great podcast we listen to and talk to them all the time. Nate Hamilton, you can find him at Nate FF, just spelled like that, DOMI Nate FF. And he's a great follow and a great person to talk to. Again, that's your fantasy football tip of the week. Follow those two guys along with us at Tyler Belosky. And that's your tip of the week for the Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips podcast. That's the tip of the week. You can find us on YouTube at the Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips podcast. You can email the show at Tyler and Eli FF tips@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter, as I said. And you can also find us at DraftKingsSleepers.com. Guys, again, sorry Eli's not here. He has to go out and about. It's a little shorter podcast tonight because it's only one guy talking. Thank you for bearing with us. Thank you for all the people on DraftKingsSleepers.com for asking questions. We'll get those answers right out to you. And thank you, Pristine Auction, for sponsoring the show. Guys, thanks. It was quick. It was hopefully helpful. And we'll see you guys next week for the Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips podcast. I'm Tyler Belosky. See ya.